Can you take cartels? Cartels, take cartels. Jai Nitai Nai Sedeshe na Jaro Nitai Mukana Dedeshe Nitai Nai Sedeshe na Jaro Nitai Jebana himane macha mukha lochna bode mora jebana himane Finalizing, please. Because we're already broadcasting. Okay. So we're supposed to speak. The one for Radha Krishna. Yes. Put the songbook on it. Very good. Page number. Okay, put songbook. Songbook. Okay. 376. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is. Ali mohela de bindavanani ko. Ali mohela de bindavanani ko. Ali mohela de bindavanani ko.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. जय श्री गुरु गौरांगन गिरिधारी राधा ललित माधव जी की जय। राधा रमन बिहारी राधा विनोद बिहारी राधा नयन बिहारी जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जी की जय। राधा दामोदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा गोकुल नंद राधा रमन जी की जय। कृष्ण बलराम महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत नारायण स्वयं महाराज की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परिव्राजक आचार्य स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत नारायण श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत मधुसूदन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति जीवन जनार्दन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति वैभव पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति राक्षसीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद् भक्ति शिल गौर किशोरदास जी महाराज की जय। सप्तम गोस्वामी सच्चिदानंद शिल भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्त दास रघुनाथ गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। स्वरूप दामोदर रमानंद दी श्री गुरु परिषद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे गुरुचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। आनन्दलीलमय विग्रहाय मभदिव्यचिवसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। नित्यानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानन्दप्रदायिने कलोकल्मषनशाय जन्मपतये नमः। अजनुलम्बितभुजो कनकवदातो सङ्कीर्तनाय कपितरो कमलायताक्ष विश्वम्भरो जुजोरो जुगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो कनकजलादगत्रो नीलशोणब्जनेत्रो मृगमदवरबालो मालतीकुन्दमालो तरलतरुणवेशो नीलपीताम्बरेशो स्मरनिभृतनिकुञ्जे राधिका कृष्णचन्द्रो तवैवास्मि न जीवमि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वं नैमं चिरनन्तिके। देवं नारायणं वन्दे वृन्दावननिवासिनम् अनन्तगुणभूषितकोटिवत्सल्यरूपिणं गौरकृपविग्रहाय गौरङ्गस्य प्रियात्मने तं रूपं सततं वन्दे मज्जीवनस्य जीवनं विरहेण सदयचे तव पादपद्मेष मे आश्रया चरणा देहि गुरुदेव कृपामयम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. First of all, my limited Dandavad pranams to Lotus Feet of Srila Gurudeva, Nityal Krishna, Om Vishnu Pada Stotra Sata Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Rupanога Gaudiya Guru Varga, my dear Shiksha Gurus, dear devotees here in Bushey near London, Dandavad pranam. Also to those devotees and friends who are watching us online, and those who are watching it in recording, Hare Krishna. So I'm very, very happy to see everyone again. This is unfortunately our last meeting during this UK visit of your humble servant, trying to become humble servant.
So day after tomorrow we'll celebrate Guru Purnima, very significant day. Everybody is worshipping Guru principle. And yesterday we, in London, at Sundarananda Prabhu's place, we were glorifying our Srila Gurudev, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, mostly because Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada as well, Jagatam Didi. And I was very happy to hear devotees' heart realizations. So it's Vyasa Purnim coming, day after tomorrow. I will be elsewhere, but you'll be celebrating. So this is like universal Vyasa Puja. Universal Vyasa Puja, because on that day everybody worships their gurus. Guru Diksha and Shiksha, no difference. From that point, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita starts. Srila Kaviraj Goswami is saying Vande Gurun. So Gurun stands in the, what's that double, what's it? Plural. No, not plural, in the dual. What's that called? Case, not case. In the dual form. So in Sanskrit, there's singular, dual, and plural. So in the dual case, Gurun means Diksha and Shiksha. So for someone, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj was Shiksha Guru. For someone, Diksha Guru. For someone, Sannyas Guru. But sometimes we underestimate the position of Shiksha Guru. Very, very often, Shiksha Guru discloses the conception of Diksha Guru to you. Very, very often it happens. Because if Diksha Guru shows you the mountain, Shiksha Guru describes, look, there are bushes there, big and small, some bushes, some caves in the mountain. There's a mountain, and upon mountain there are some caves, and there are some trees, there are some gardens, there are some waterfalls, so many peculiarities. So Shiksha Guru describes that. So Sri Guru is Drishya Bhagavan, is the visible Lord. When Jiva becomes very, very qualified, means when Jiva becomes really, yes, qualified by the fact that the Jiva is shouting aloud. The Jiva is just unable to continue material existence anymore. Then Krishna comes in the form of Sri Guru. That's why Sri Guru is Drishya Bhagavan, means the Lord who is seen. We have never seen Krishna. We have heard something, maybe. We were serving God in many traditions over many lifetimes. But about Transcendental Krishna, we might have heard, might not, but never seen. But Sri Guru can be seen right now. He's the form of the Lord who is seen. So that Bhakta Bhagavata should come into our lives, but that's not our credit. Sometimes we think, oh, my credit, I'm so qualified. But remember, Tadvidi Pranipatina Pariprashanina Sevaya Parikshantite Jnana Jnanina Tattva Darshana. Yesterday we were discussing this verse. 3 things you have to do when you come to Sri Guru. Pranipad, the first one, means give up your false ego. Pranipad means surrender. Means not only by words. Srila Gurudev used to say, not only but giving flowers. We like ceremonies. Today we'll also have one, Arati. But not only by giving flowers, not only by doing, prostrated dandavat. It may be gymnastics if you don't give your heart. How to give heart? If I fail to give heart, then what shall I do? Still continue and pray for sincerity. What is the qualification for bhakti? What is it? Sincerity. Sincerity and simplicity. Saralata and sincerity also. So Srila Gurudev is like this. So Sri Guru is not really a post, but it's qualification. Post may be there. Gurudev can appoint, oh, you be Guru now. But Svabhavika, natural position is very much obvious, like the sun. Yesterday we were saying also. If the sun comes, nobody protests. Nobody goes and, oh, I don't want the sun. Owls can hide. But when the sun is there, then everybody sees, oh, there's obvious fact. So that's why we appreciate Sri Guru. Yeah. So devotees were quoting that verse yesterday. Nama sreshtam manamapi sachiputramatra swarupam rupam tasyagrajamurvurim madurim goshtavatyam radha kundam girivaramaho radhika madhava samprapto yasya pratiti kripaya Shri Gurum tam natosmi. Many lifetimes we're trying to enjoy here. Many lifetimes we're trying to squeeze the juices of what material energy gives you. Yeah, and failure, disappointment. And Gurudev came and said, stop, no more. Now you will serve Krishna. And you will see what kind of nectar that is. That is real nectar. This West is a place of enjoyment. What's that? A Bhogadesh, the land of Bhoga, of enjoyment. But Shri Gurudev just extracts us from here and makes transcendental Vrindavan visible here, like a temple, like every household. And he says, oh, now, my dear sons and daughters, as Gurudev was saying, you have to worship Krishna. So, okay, everybody's seated nicely. Somebody else came. Okay, let them come in. So, Nama Srishtam, Srila Gurudev, first of all, gave us the treasure of the holy name. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Binnatam Nama. Binnatam, no difference between Nama and Nami. Hare Krishna. So that's why when we hear the holy name emanated from the lotus mouth of Sri Guru, especially when he himself started singing as Srila Prabhupada in New York, under the same tree Srila Gurudev started 1996, 1966, and 1996 under the same tree. So the sound, vibration flew over all the globe, everywhere. And then the first group came here to England. I think 3 Grihasta couples, and they, Mukunda Goswami. Others, they came. Then Srila Gurudev sent his followers. So through him, the message was spreading. We were asking Gurudev, oh Gurudev, you are telling us to go on Nagara Sankirtan and preach, but what kind of Harinam will be singing? That's aparat, isn't it? Gurudev saying, that is my order. So the answer was, that is my order. And you can see, oh God, that is force. That is great force, which is unstoppable. So being a tool of Srila Gurudev, like whatever tool that is, like a hammer or whatever, chisel you want to use for something. So if you don't protest, if you don't make any revolution, just become nice tool, and the process will be accomplished. What Arjuna realized at the end of Bhagavad Gita, yes, I'm going to become your tool. Sarvadharman parityajama ekam sharanam vraja. Yes. Give up all the other obligations, all the other duties. So Srila Gurudev is saying, leave everything, come with me. Like Jesus said also, leave everything, come with me. So Sri Guru is Drishya Bhagavan. So first of all, he's giving the name, Nama Sreshta, the treasure of the name. Nama Sreshta Manamapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam. Then Srila Gurudev knows Mahaprabhu. When we chant our Gayatri mantras, we chant, I know my Gurudev. Then we chant, I know Mahaprabhu. I know Vishwambar, because Srila Gurudev is in close relationship with Vishwambar. Srila Gurudev was so much inspiring us. He was saying, first, you will be born in Vaishnava families, nice Vaishnava families, maybe in Vrindavan or Navadvip. next lifetime. Then you will come into the association of great associates of Mahaprabhu, such as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, etc., Narottam Das Thakur, etc., etc. 6 Goswamis. Amongst them, gradually, then prema will come in their association. So Srila Gurudev knows Mahaprabhu. It's one of very, very close associates of Mahaprabhu. Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam. Srila Gurudev took all the world. You know, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada also took all the world. Very, very wide preaching. And he satisfied all, intentions for worship. Somebody like Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, like you have in Soho Street. He said, yes, Sitaram, you worship. Somebody wanted Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, all right, you worship. Somebody wanted Gaur Nityananda, you worship. And Shri Radha Shyama Sundar also you can worship. Shri Gurudev said, oh, actually 3 figures should be there. Mahaprabhu and Shri Radha, Vinod Bihari, Shri Radha and Krishna. So, more narrow path, the path of Rupanuga. So that is very good, but it should be directed towards the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami. That's Srila Gurudev's vision. I wanted to say mission, but I stopped myself because Srila Guru didn't used to like this word mission. So mission? Who said mission? Why do you say mission? Mission is something external. Mission certainly is the task of Acharya, but Sri Guru is even higher than Acharya. I remember in Birmingham 2003, there was one sannyasi, Indian body. He came to Srila Gurudev, but he happened to be the same, probably here in England, so he spoke something. And he spoke about the position of Acharya, and he said, oh, the position of Acharya is even higher than Guru. And Gurudev, at the end, Gurudev also very, very politely, always very politely, like Mahaprabhu was doing. Mahaprabhu was never making anyone feel uncomfortable. Remember how with Keshava Kashmiri, he was very delicate. Oh, Pandit, you please go home, then come back tomorrow. So Srila Gurudev told that sannyasi, just took the mic and said, just very politely said that, actually, we cannot say that position of Acharya is higher than position of Guru. Position of Guru is much higher. Guru is everything. Acharya you can become, like you can be, you can teach others. But Sri Guru is the universal position. We never say Narada Acharya, Vyasa Acharya, we don't say. Said Guru. That's why Sri Narada, say Sri Vyasa, Dev, Guru Dev, we say also Dev. So that's why. Drishya Bhagavan, that's why he's Dev, and that's Svabhavika, that's very, very natural position. And not dependent on whether he's preaching widely or not. So then, Namasrishtam Manamapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam, the position of Srila Rupa Goswami. How important Srila Rupa Goswami is. The whole teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami Gurudev has given, Rupa and Sanatana. Before Srila Gurudev, we were not sure which places of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita are most important. Gurudev said Rupa Shiksha, Sanatana Shiksha, Raya Ramananda Samvat, certainly. There was no Kartik, probably, or any festival, foreign festival, and Gurudev was not speaking on Raya Ramananda Samvat. It's one of most beloved topics. Then, a Rathayatra Prasanga, certainly. The ecstatic dancing of Mahaprabhu at Rathayatra. How Vrindavana mood is there in Rathayatra. Gurudev was teaching us how to observe Lord Jagannath's Rathayatra festival. Gurudev was saying, stressing, not only by pulling the rope, you have to think, oh, we, in the mood of the gopis, returning Krishna to Vrindavan. Like the gopis on the chariot of their minds, Manoratha, are returning Krishna to Vrindavan. Can you see in Srimad Bhagavatam that it's written that Krishna is returning to Vrindavan? Yes, you can see. If you're a Rasika Vaishnava, then definitely you can see at every page that Krishna is returning to Vrindavan. That's the whole mood of our acharyas. Bhakti is all about the mood. All rules and regulations possible exist for the mood. That's why Gurudev was saying, certainly Raganuga Pravritti Vaidhi. Vaidhi should be directed towards Raganuga. So rules and regulations are directed towards the development of the mood. That's why Gurudeva was saying very, very clearly that the mood, the aim for rules and regulations, the aim for sadhana bhakti is bhava, development of ecstatic emotion. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava, sasadhana bidhanitya siddhasya bhavasya sadhyata. So that's why when we perform our daily duties, we're trying to cultivate the mood. So while I'm speaking about Rupa, anyway, Mahaprabhu and Rupa, he says given, that's why I'm mentioning those points, because these are very, very key points of the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. So I remember there was one false theory started developing in Gurudev Sangha, especially the Russian section, because I'm there most of the time. So devotees started writing different articles about, actually Raganuga path is totally different than Vaidya. Yeah, and well, certainly there are two types of Shraddha, that's true. Shraddha dominated by adherence to rules and regulations, which leads to Vaikuntha, that's true. And the type of Shraddha which leads you to Goloka Vrindavan, which is dominated by spontaneous attraction. That is also true. But they started maintaining that these two paths don't correspond, they don't not related between each other. So that's actually completely not true, and Gurudev was refuting that. He was quoting the verse from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Kalyana Kalpataru. He was saying, Vidhi marga rata jane, svadhinata ratna dane, raga marga korila pravesh. So those persons who are expert at following rules and regulations, in the mood of developing raga, under asterisk, in the mood, provided they're following the proper mood, then they achieve Svadhinata Ratna, means the jewel of independence. Which independence, Prabhu? We have to be dependent. Oh yes, independence. Yes, from those same rules and regulations. That's the kind of independence we're developing. Yes. So after graduating from school, you achieve what? Independence from school. Boring, isn't it? School. Quite boring. As my professor used to say, schoolish foolish. You have to forget you're schoolish foolish. So now we become free from those rules and regulations, and we can, from the level of ruchi onwards, we can be free. And then we can gallop even with our eyes closed. That's the famous verse from 11th canto is saying. And be safe in the sense that we will be achieving the goal on the platform of Raganuga. So this verse is saying that these two paths are interrelated and they're the two sides of the same coin, Vaidya and Raganuga. So we don't have to jump. Gurudev was so much against jumping, like anything. There was a famous darshan for Russian devotees, because I was involved anyway in that side. So 2007 in Govardhan, there was a huge darshan for the Russians, and your humble servant was translator. So one devotee asked, can we hear Rasa Katha? Even those devotees who are new, can they hear? Because there was also a type of group developing, which were much into that. Gurudev said, no, you have to hear Tattva Katha. Tattva means established truths. Krishna Tattva. Yes, who is Krishna? No? Jiva Tattva. Who is Jiva? Maya Tattva. What is Maya? And finally, first of all, Guru Tattva. Who is Guru? Yeah, so we have to hear those things systematically. Then Rasa, okay, we can hear in festivals Srila Gurudeva speaking and developing that greed, because Sri Guru is doing what? He's activating the capacity, the propensity of the seed to grow. The seed is already there. Gurudeva was also saying in that verse we just quoted. So kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sasadana vidanitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. So it has to manifest in the heart, but it's already there. It's been given. And Srila Gurudev gave that Siddhanta of Srila Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. A very, very famous story, probably you all remember, mostly disciples here, of Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Maharaj, what he was telling about many seeds being sown on the same bank of the same river, under the same climate, same wind, same sun, same soil, same gardener, but different plants are growing. One plant is the bitter Karela, another plant is banyan, another tree is like mango, and some locals like birch and pine and whatever you can plant. So those particular trees will grow. You'll never get a mango from Karela, however hard you can try. You can never expect a birch, to grow instead of banyan, because the tree of that, capacity. So that's why our Swarupa is fixed from the very beginning. It's a great, great controversial thing in the Vaishnava world nowadays. Many devotees are saying, and that was a great, great, actually, Bhakti Sangha in 1950, I think, at the end of 1950s, in Keshavaji Gaudiya Mathura. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Siddhar Goswami Maharaj was present. Srila Bhakti Charyajavar Maharaj was present. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj was present. And one young sannyasi put up that question. Said, okay, that's not Prasadam Bell yet. Okay, so it's yours. Naughty boy. Turn it off. Okay, so please disconnect the sound and your electronic helpers if possible. So yeah, so that sannyasi put up that question because that's a very controversial subject matter in Vaishnava society, and there were so many seeming contradictions in that conception, but actually there is not a single contradiction, because within the seed there's the whole tree present, and what we're doing now, we're activating the proclivity of that seed to be grown as a great, great tree. That's it. So Shravanadi, what's that? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Koreodai. The second verse, which explains that very deep tattva. Yeah. Sadhya Kabunoi, what's that? Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Koreodai. So it doesn't come from the process of sadhana. The process of sadhana is just watering the seed. Srila Gurudev activates the seed and gives us task to water, to look after the plant, so it grows. By Gurudev's power, because he gave the water, he watered first the seed which was already there from Krishna, and Srila Gurudev is a transcendental gardener, and he's saying, oh, listen, my dear sons and daughters, now you have to become gardeners. He's the senior gardener, and we're junior gardeners, we're disciples, students. So we're trying to help the seed to grow, to become a very powerful tree. So at the end of the day, Srila Gurudev is the author of the whole project. In the path of bhakti, we have to understand that we cannot do anything by our own endeavors. Cannot be possible. Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj has written one absolutely phenomenal article, my very favorite, about the levels of Vaishnavas, how to understand the levels of Vaishnavas. And he was saying that that's a great mistake to think that we can do something by our own endeavors. So bhakti is a very, very humble path. You have to become so humble. Understand that ekaki amar nahi payabala harinama sankirtani. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna namadhani. Deho Krishna namadhani. Vaishnava thakura daya sagura edasi korunakare. We sing this song every meeting, but do I realize the deep imports? Ekaki amar nahi payabala harinama sankirtani. Myself cannot do anything. How is it? People sometimes are surprised. Hey, listen, aren't you underestimating your, position, your endeavors, your, skills or whatever, what you possess? You must possess something. Yes, we possess, but we possess because of their mercy. This is part of devotion. Very difficult. Very difficult. You have to really beat your ego hard. But Gurudev does it, but with great love. These are loving slaps of dear parent, like a mother. Gurudev is like mother. Yes. When Gurudev came to the West, there were many people who are so happy, and some people are not happy. So nobody was neutral. So those people were not happy. They were doing some politics. So we were asking Gurudev, who are they? Can you tell me who are they? Gurudev said, they are my children. They are my children. Because if a child does something on your lap, you don't really punish him. You're a criminal. No. Okay, one tiny little loving slap on the soft surface. So the child remembers, okay, don't. Even the child is so unconscious that cannot be. Okay, that's a part of his nature. Part of, part of the nature of children to play sometimes games which, from the point of view of grown-ups, even 10-year-old kids are quite weird. They're in the sand and all over the place, Yes, they're all covered with like little Krishna, with dust and dirt. And once Yashoda told Krishna, "Oh, Krishna, you must be a pig. What kind of pig are you?" "Yes." "Oh, you must have been a pig in your past life." "Yes, yes, Maya, I was a pig." Varahadev ki jai. We know. Yeah, so Srila Gurudev gave us that rupa, and how to say, so-called beating around the bush. I'm speaking about the same principle. Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami. So we turn on one lamp. So thank you. Good. So Srila Rupa Goswami is Shuddha Brijabasi. Is pure Brijabasi, pure resident of Vrindavan. Remember yesterday we were mentioning how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent them to Vrindavan, and they became the favorite sadhus of the Brijabasis residents of Vrindavan. So Sanatana Goswami was Bada Baba, Big Baba. Sri Rupa Goswami was Chota Baba, Little Baba. So everybody was adoring them. Dhira, Dhira, Priyatmaya Priyakaro. Both Dhira and Adhira, both intelligent and non-intelligent. We're thinking, oh, that person is not intelligent. He or she is foolish. No, not necessarily. A Brijabasi, not intelligent, but very pure-hearted, very loving. So intelligence comes after, no problem. So both Dhira and Adhira, no problem. Brijabasi, highest position. If one is high intelligence, some Brijabasi is highly intelligent, some not. It doesn't really matter. So all the so much adoring Srila Gurudev, really. So he was. That's why they gave him in 2003 or 4. It was Yugacharya. They gave him the title Yugacharya, the Acharya of the whole Yuga. Also, but Gurudev didn't like this. Somebody was trying to glorify him. Om Vishnupada Stotra Satu Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Yugacharya Gurudev. What? What saying? He was not liking that. So, but actually he was like this Acharya of the Yuga. So trying to, look into that, why he was Yugacharya. So Namasreshtam Manamapisachi Putramatra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurgurim Madurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram. He gave us Radha Kunda. Who can give Radha Kunda? Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda were discovered by Mahaprabhu himself. Only he could discover. Not even Rupa and Sanatana. Not even Raghunath Das. He already came when Radha Kunda was discovered. The highest place, absolutely highest place, highest abode, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered himself. But who can give Radha Kunda? Sri Guru can give. Because so in Sri Guru principle, there are two, stages of realizing. The first one is Nityananda Swarup. Certainly his Lord Nityananda will speak about that today. And the second one is Radha Dasi, the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. So people are asking questions. Devotees were asking questions. How to Reconcile these two. When will Gurudev disclose himself as Nityananda Swarup? When will Gurudev disclose himself as Radha Dasi? So obviously Radha Dasi, that realization comes on much more advanced stages. Nityananda is available to all. Everybody can feel. That's the power of his presence. Nobody can stay neutral when Nityananda comes in. He's always shouting, "Give me wine!" The wine of divine nectar. And he's ready to give that nectar for everyone. He has a plow in his hand. The plow is cultivating the soul of the heart, the soil of the heart, and destroying all ignorance, all ignorance. So when the soil is not cultivated, inside so much ignorance, some bad weeds, some dirt, inside stones. But with his transcendental plow, Nityananda Prabhu cultivates everything and extracts everything which is not needed, anything extraneous, anything polluting, throwing away, and then putting the seeds. Seeds, that's Nityananda's job. And then the seeds grow, and they come to the lotus feet of Srimati Radha Thakurani, and then Sri Guru manifests there as Srimati Radhika's very, very loving maidservant. So then we'll be able to take bath in the transcendental waters of Radha Kund. And Srila Gurudev will be also there. Srila Gurudev was giving also very confidential information about how he was giving some hints actually about how we'll be serving him, means her, on the platform of realization, his or her second aspect as Radha Dasi. That's very, very high. Gurudev was giving just some hints. Radha Kundam Girivaram. Yeah, the best Haridas of all is Giriraj Maharaj, Giriraj Govardhan. So, 3 Haridasas, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Uddhava, and Giriraj Maharaj. So, Giriraj Maharaj, Haridasa Varya, the gopis were saying, Antaya Madri Rabala Haridasa Varya, in that verse, that he is the best of Haridasas. That's why Sri Guru can give us Giriraj Maharaj also, because Giriraj Maharaj is the path towards Radha Kunda, the very, very confidential pastimes of divine couple Kandare Kandarete in the caves of Giriraj Maharaj are going on. I'm very happy we can discuss these confidential topics. Some guests may come now, so we will have to be adapting things. And Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavas. And finally, Gurudev has given us Radhika and Madhava. During initiations, Gurudev was disclosing that, and we translators are very lucky people because we heard explanations of Srila Gurudev many, many times. Yesterday I was mentioning one phonogram in which Srila Gurudev actually explains the meaning of Kama Gayatri. In the last darshan, yesterday evening we were mentioning the last darshan, actually one of the last darshans outside of India, the very end of Moscow festival, last Moscow festival, August 2010, in the place Gurudev was resting for 2.5 days. Some group of people came, new people, and then one devotee asked about, well, how can I meditate on Radhika? Because, well, I have more desire to meditate on Krishna. And Gurudev just explained full meaning of Kama Gayatri, and that's recording. And he explained practically word for word what he was explaining at initiations, what I have to feel, what I have. But in 2 words, we can say during initiations, both Harinama and Diksha, especially Diksha, Gurudev was giving that meditation, think I'm in Vrindavan. I'm in Vrindavan. You think I'm in Vrindavan. So Srila Gurudev was giving us Vrindavan. Rasika Vaishnava has such a power. He's giving us Vrindavan, putting us into Vrindavan. That's why picture of Vrindavan is before our eyes when we try to do bhajan, when we meditate on the imports from Dhyana Chandra Goswami's Archana Padati, those things. When meditate on Radha Swarupa, Krishna Swarupa, then Srila Gurudev is always with us. One devotee recently, our god sister, had some health trouble, serious health trouble after she was back from India. So she was taken to hospital with very bad case of some Hare Krishna, of some stomach disease. I think her gallbladder or something. So she nearly left her body, but she was back. She returned. But while she was in what's that called, coma, she saw all her life, starting from the very last events, going backwards. And the last events were what? Vrindavan. She had just been. So she was shown many, many important places of Vrindavan, and Gurudev was leading her through those places. And she was saying, I was going so many places, and Gurudev was always with me. And then she was back in her body. She returned. But this was very, very important, so much important. Well, those posthumous, how to say, experiences are quite popular. But in devotion, on the path of devotion, some revelations devotees sometimes have are very valuable for us. So we could see practically that Srila Gurudev was with us. Gurudev was saying in the initiations, he was saying, I am giving you, today I am the father, and mantra is the mother. I'm taking your hand and I'm putting it into Krishna's hand. Gurudev was saying that. Well, now it's, I think, since Gurudev was explaining that in that recording, I don't think I did much mistake, how to say, quoting Gurudev. Because those were, how to say, those things he was saying at initiations were not allowed to tell, but those things, we can call them pretty much general nowadays. Because that's a fact. Gurudev takes our hand, puts a hand into the hand of Krishna, and Gurudev is the father, mantra is the mother. So Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhava Sampraptoyasya Pratikrupayo Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. So Srila Gurudev has given all that, and I will never be able to repay that. Yeah. Karmically, we cannot repay the debt to our mother who had given birth to us for 7 lifetimes. We cannot return, like karmically, purely karmically. But to Srila Gurudev, what to say? Brahmanda Brahmitikona Bhagavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadapaya Bhakti Lata Bija. After we have traveled throughout the universes, many, many lifetimes, finally we can come to lotus feet of Sri Guru. And Sri Guru can give us the seed of Krishna Bhakti, the seed of devotional service there. So after many, many, many lifetimes of different achievements, disappointments, austerities, mistakes, and actually there was movement forward. Finally we have come to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. So we mentioned 2 manifestations of Srila Gurudev as Nityananda Swarup and as Radha Dasya Krishna. Have you heard anything like this before? Your first time? Good. What's your good name? Aila. Aila. Okay, I'm Sadhu Maharaj. But although the words may not be understood, the mode will be understood. That's usually what's happening. So I'm speaking bravely. I can understand you're a spiritual person, so some more or less complicated terms we can describe, but you just, I think you'll join in the flow, so you'll be able to catch up. So Sri Guru is Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda is a very, very close associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna came 5,000 years ago, and 534 years ago now, Sri Chaitanya came. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's playing flute, And Sri Chaitanya is that same Krishna, but he's the teacher of all the world. He came to teach the mood of Sri Radha. Radha is Krishna's beloved, or his internal energy, to the whole world. And the path of devotion and chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to teach that. But his very, very close associate was Nityananda Prabhu. Haribol, it's the refreshing signal. So Nityananda and Gauranga were going back and forth everywhere, all over Bengal first, and they were chanting, and everybody was chanting along with them. So that's the movement of Sankirtana, or congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, but Gauranga knew, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew, that Nityananda is personification of Guru principle. Nityananda is Guru. Nitya means eternal, Ananda means bliss, pleasure. So Nityananda, one who possesses the highest bliss, is Nityananda. In this world, there is no Ananda, no pleasure. This Ananda is fickle, temporary. So that's why, since it's of temporary nature, it's not taken seriously by those who are aspiring for spiritual advancement. That's why those who aspire for spiritual advancement take shelter of Nityananda. Nityananda, the possessor of the highest bliss. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda were experiencing highest bliss. And when you experience bliss, then you're eager to give everyone, isn't it? You want to share, isn't it? When one is happy. A simple mundane example. Someone is happy, say neighbors having a birthday party or something. They want to share, especially in previous times in India. Oh, please come, all neighbors come. So they want to share that. So in that same way, Sri Guru wants to share that bliss with everyone. So Srila Gurudev came and said, I don't want anything. I don't want anything from you. The only thing I want from you is actually, you please take that gift of the holy name and dedicate your life to the holy name. So by holy name, our internal potential can become activated. We'll be able to achieve spiritual existence and spiritual body. Right now, our body is material, therefore so many problems. But we'll have to achieve spiritual body, and in spiritual body, we'll live in spiritual world where there is no birth and death, no time, no space, no birth, no death, no suffering. Vai Kuntha. Vai means no, Kuntha means suffering, no suffering. In this world, well, suffering always comes. Even if you have good karma, you can take good birth, prosperous. Everybody will give you so many assets, etc. But then you'll have to lose that all, and you'll be born in a poor country, having bad health, bad relatives, etc., etc. So no guarantee. So Nityananda is giving something which is eternal, Nitya, and that eternal is Ananda or bliss. So Nityananda Goswami was by the side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to actually give him so much honor. So he wanted to worship him actually, but Nityananda didn't allow. So here, that pastime, how it happened. Nityananda was in ecstasy, and seeing that, Mahaprabhu said, listen, my dear Nityananda, where shall your Vyasa Puja be performed? Day after tomorrow is the day of Vyasa Puja. Everybody worships Vyasadev. I love this literature, Vedic literature, was recorded 5,000 years ago for the benefit of the people. Before, there were no books. There was no need of books because people were having so good memory. So they could remember, a disciple could remember immediately what his guru was speaking without even repeating twice from the first time. So, but now, Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel, hypocrisy, Iron Age, so people are very much lazy, manda. So manda matayo means devoid of good fortune, misled, and always disturbed. So no memory means you cannot remember. So that's why books are needed. So we have many books and electronic and so on, because no memory. So that's why Vyasadeva has recorded Vedic literature for the benefit of the people of Kali Yuga. And he's worshipped according to the scriptures. So Mahaprabhu said to Nityananda, oh listen, Nityananda Goswami, where shall your Vyasa Puja be performed? Your Vyasa Puja. He at once called him a guru. So Nityananda could understand what was on Gauranga's mind. So he took Srivas by his hand and smiling said, oh listen Vishwambar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had that name. Vishwambar means supporter of all the world. I will have my Vyasa Puja in this Brahmana's house. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Srivas, now you have responsibility of performing this Vyasa Puja. You have to provide all the necessities, bring clothes, grains, Brahmin thread, ghee, etc., everything which is available, so that Vyasa Puja is performed nicely. So I shall witness Vyasa Puja tomorrow. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with Srivas's mood. He agreed, and Mahaprabhu said to Nityananda Gosai, let us all make preparations to go to Srivas Thakur's house. So then they proceeded to Srivas Thakur's house, accompanied by their associates. You imagine how that transcendental crowd was looking, like the sun and the moon like Nityananda Prabhu. They both entered the wonderful assembly in the house of Srivas, and devotees felt a current of joy when they saw the two lords. Then the Lord ordered the doors to be closed, because the first kirtans, the first chanting was with closed doors. It said that charity begins at home, then it goes outside. So when you develop some good conception, how to say, like a rehearsal, isn't it? Then you can go out and play outside for the public. So the first step was the indoor kirtans, transcendental indoor kirtans. So today we're in intimate company, more or less. Everybody's of the same mood. No, complete new people who don't know anything. So that's why we can imagine what kind of intense atmosphere was there behind the closed doors in the house of Srivas, which is very dear to all the Vaishnavas. So chanting started, chanting of the holy name. Today we will do chanting of the holy name at the end. But the chanting was so ecstatic that the two lords began to dance ecstatically, surrounded by the devotees who were singing. The bond of love and affection existed eternally between Lord Nityananda and Vishwambar. And now, as they danced together, each one was immersed in thoughts of the other. So Nityananda was perfectly knowing what Mahaprabhu had on his mind, and Mahaprabhu was perfectly knowing what Nityananda was having in mind. Such a union, Krishna and Balaram. Krishna in his first expansion, Balaram, now came as Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. So devotees were experiencing extraordinary joy. Some began to roar loudly, some fell unconscious, and others could not restrain the flow of joyful tears. The two Supreme Lords were experiencing all the symptoms of ecstasy, shivering, paling, horripilating, crying, falling unconscious. Who can describe all the ecstatic symptoms that they were manifesting? That was the ecstasy before Vyasa Puja actually started. So we start and end everything with Kirtan. Kirtan was before this Harikatha gathering, and it will be after. So prologue, epilogue, but inside there's gold. So they would embrace each other, crying. In the mood of brotherly love, they tried to catch each other's feet. But because both were wary and cunning, they could not succeed. So Mahaprabhu wanted to touch Nityananda's feet because Guru, but he was not allowing, he could not tolerate. He wanted to touch Mahaprabhu's feet, Mahaprabhu was hiding. So they were overwhelmed in happiness and they rolled on the ground, forgetting their absolute supreme position. You know, God forgets his supreme position. And what happens? Then Mahaprabhu Lila happens. That's what happens. So their wonderful pastimes, the world of phenomena was forgotten, and their clothes fell from their body. They could not sit still, and even though the Vaishnavas tried to hold them down, they were not successful. How is it possible for the Vaishnavas to hold on to the personality who holds the entire universe? They were not able to grasp Nityananda's Gauranga's feet. The two Supreme Lords were lost in the nectar of chanting and dancing. Lord Gaurasundar kept repeating, Bolo, Bolo, chant, chant, drenching his whole body with tears of happiness. The Lord, having found that personality, whose association he always desired, his eternal brother, Lord Nityananda, was floating on an ocean of eternal, endless ecstasy. Lord Vishwambara's dancing was so enchanting. Sometimes he would touch his head with his feet. Imagine what ballet dancer can do that? No, nobody can compete. Nobody can come even close. So his head, when Lord Nityananda Prabhu danced, it seemed there was an earthquake. Nityananda Prabhu dancing like an earthquake. Everything was, imagine Balaram. Bala means strength. So he's the repository of all strength. So that's why he's holding the whole stage for Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan, pastimes in Vrindavan. So he's like a basis of everything, basis of everything. But when he starts to dance, then what's going on with the earth? The earth is just like earthquake is going on, complete earthquake. Thus the two Supreme Lords danced in ecstasy. Who can describe that scene of great jubilation? Lord Vishwambara then sat on the seat of Lord Vishnu, feeling in the mood of Lord Balaram. Like Lord Balaram, he was expressing madness and repeatedly cried out, Bring wine! Bring wine! Crying and crying, Bring wine! Bring wine! Why? Why wine? What is that wine? Because he's fully intoxicated and he wants all the world to be intoxicated in prema. Prema, or divine love, is compared to the wine. So Mahaprabhu was in the ecstasy of Nityananda. Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna, always intoxicated in the spirit, transcendental love for the Lord. That's why his eyes are always red and rotating. He's looking around madly. And Nityananda is also like this. So Mahaprabhu entered Nityananda's mood. So once Nityananda was shouting for the wine and he was so, how to say, restless, the devotees brought some water, okay, some jug of water, so he drank. This is your wine. And another occasion, who was that? Srivas, I think he said, oh, your wine is within you. So unless you give, then how can we possess that wine you're asking for? So, but Mahaprabhu now was in the mood of Nityananda. So then the Lord said to Nityananda Prabhu, immediately bring your plow. Give me your plow. Nityananda Prabhu has a plow in his hand, to cultivate the soil of the hearts of the jivas, living entities. We have our soil here in the heart, but it's mostly dry. Having so many, worms inside and what's that? Stones. It's not ready for the seeds to be sown. So it has to be cultivated with a plow. And the plow is the weapon of Lord Nityananda, Balarama. So he cultivates the soil of the jiva's seed. So at that moment, Mahaprabhu required that plow from Nityananda. Give me. So that actually was the beginning of Mahaprakash, the great revelation the Lord was exhibiting. But he was revealing different incarnations for different devotees. But that time he wanted to become Lord Nityananda. So he required the plow from Nityananda. At the Lord's request, Lord Nityananda stretched out his hands and Lord Gaurachandra received it in his hand. Some saw the two lords go through these motions empty-handed. Somebody could not see that the plow was there. While others saw Lord Nityananda give a plow to Lord Chaitanya. So those who were on the platform of transcendental realization, they could see the plow. And those who were practitioners, they could not see anything, just empty, something, some object in the hands, but they couldn't follow what that was. So here Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying only by the Lord's mercy you can see his transcendental opulence. So confidential pastimes are not available for everyone, anyone and everyone. Anyway, Mahaprabhu received the plow from Nityananda Prabhu, and then he began to ask for the wine. Give me wine, give me wine. He was very agitated, he was looking mad. Most devotees could not understand this mood of Lord Chaitanya. They looked at each other's faces in bewilderment, wondering why the Lord was asking for wine. Trying to think logically, they finally brought a pot of Ganga water to the Lord. The Lord distributed the Ganga water to everyone and drank much of it. Himself, thinking this to be real wine, all around the devotees began to chant different verses about Lord Balaram and his glories. So, but Gauranga Mahaprabhu started exclaiming, Nara, Nara, Nara. Who is Nara? That's the loving nickname of Advaita Acharya. Nara, with dot, in Indian languages, there, Nara. So the da means Narayan. That's the short name for Advaita Acharya, who is Bhakta Avatar. So he was calling for Advaita Prabhu. So when the devotees asked, what Nara? What Nara do you mean? What Nara are you calling for? He said, the one under whose, how to say, beckoning I came, the personality you call Advaita Acharya Prabhu is Nara for me. So I'm calling for him now. So Nara has brought me down. I'm here on his call. So Advaita Acharya, remember, he was calling for the Supreme Lord, you please come and save the population of Kali Yuga, because they're so fallen. So he was worshipping Shalagrama stone with the water of the Ganga and Tulsi leaf. So then the Lord came to external consciousness after that. And have I been restless? Were my speech and actions uncontrolled? The devotee said, no, nothing was inconsistent. Everything was all right. Oh, please forgive my offensive nature, the Lord said. So he was feeling that nature of Nityananda, and therefore the devotee said, oh, yes. They were thinking, oh, the Lord was joking. So, but Nityananda Prabhu was in his own ecstasy. Unable to control himself, he started rolling on the ground like a great mountain. Yeah. Today we sang one song about Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah. In another song, I think Lochan Das Thakur is saying, like a golden mountain covered by dust, with dust, Nityananda Prabhu was rolling on the ground. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he cried, sometimes he opened his clothes and stood naked, like a little child. That's the nature of Nityananda. Well, you can hear that and thinking that, oh, who is that? That seems to be mad. But that's transcendental madness, spiritual madness. And that's in the heart of Sri Guru. Prema makes you mad. Prema, or divine love, makes you mad, intoxicated. So this path, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce you today that this path is the path of spiritual madness. Are you ready? You have to become spiritual madmen. Just read in Madhurya Kadambini what's awaiting for us at the end. Yes, the moralists will call us fallen. The Varnashrama followers will call us sentimental. Some others will call us mad, crazy, mundane people. But the saints are like this, the great saints. Remember Francis of Assisi? Yeah. So first they were calling him strange, and then they canonized him by voting, whatever system was there. He was canonized as a saint, bona fide saint. So saints cannot be understood by masses of people. That's common fact. So I'm so happy you understand. So yeah, that's why he was becoming naked. Sometimes his clothes were just sliding down, and he was becoming completely naked. Formerly, on some days, Nityananda was coming to the house of Shachimata when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. And he was completely naked, and all of his clothes he was wearing as a turban. So Mahaprabhu was covering him with some shawl, you know, because he was so happy, intoxicated, in the mood of a young boy. And his body manifested his mood. His stick fell in one direction, and his water pot and clothes in another. Nityananda was a sannyasi. His danda fell in one direction, kamandalu, the purification bowl, on the other side. No need of these formal symbols. Nityananda later accepted two wives, Janava and Vasudha. After sannyas, oh my God, how is that? The moralists are perplexed, bewildered. What's going on? He's Nityananda. He's fully free. Don't try to imitate. Don't try to accept wives after sannyas. Otherwise, you'll be ruined. But Nityananda Prabhu is completely free. He's not bound by rules and regulations. So he's amazing, amazing personality. So his stick fell in one direction, danda fell in one direction. No need danda. Why danda? Later he broke Mahaprabhu's danda, in three places he broke and threw into the river, stream. Also Mahaprabhu doesn't need danda. Danda is a staff of a renounced monk. But that's formal. That's why for the personality of God, no need of danda, no need of kamandula. Lord Nityananda was now restless and uncontrollable. Vishwambara had to hold him still. Chaitanya's words acted on Nityananda Prabhu's, just as a god acts on a mad elephant. So the only personality who could control Nityananda was actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No one else. In the three worlds, even Advaita or Gadadhar or anyone else could not, no one else could control him. Only Vishwambara Mahaprabhu. So, what's that? Elephant controller, what's the person's name? He has elephant goad in his hands. And with tiny, tiny elephant goad, he can control the huge, huge mountain-like animal, elephant. So then, obeying Mahaprabhu, Nityananda stood still. Stood still. He was not moving. The Lord said, "Be calm, and if you want, tomorrow you can have Vyasa Puja." All right, understood. So the Lord left for his home. The devotees returned to their respective homes, and the Lord Nityananda remained in Srivas Prabhu's house. The last word after the Lord. Okay, stand still. Okay, stand still. Tomorrow, Vyasa Puja, you perform? Perform. All right. So, the last word. Late in the night, overcome with ecstasy, Lord Nityananda became roaring like a lion. Okay, again, uncontrollable. Again, the Lord didn't discipline him. He broke his stick and water pot. No need of this danda. Broke it. Threw the water pot. No need. That's the ecstasy. Ecstasy. That's actually what we're hearing now. It's what's going on in the heart of Sri Guru. Sri Guru has it in his heart. The madness, devotional love, ecstatic devotional service, bhava and prema. That's what is sometimes can manifest when no one's there. But for the sake of the devotees, he gives regulated devotional service. He wears tilak. He wears sannyasa vesh, clothes, uttariya bahirvas, everything. He looks like a regular person, like an acharya, showing the path of devotion by his example. But inside, like imagine a kettle, plastic kettle, metal kettle, but what's inside we don't know. But inside it's boiling, boiling, in the way we cannot see. We can see some steam maybe, a little bit. But what's inside we cannot see. Red lamp is burning, but what's inside we cannot see. So in that same way. But true disciple knows. what's in Srila Gurudev's heart. That's why true disciple knows the ecstasy Sri Guru is experiencing. That is called Mano Bhishtam, the great desire of Sri Guru. So a disciple has to seek for that, has to know what ecstasy Srila Gurudev is having in his heart. So Nityananda, became boiling. He started roaring like a lion, broke his stick and water pot. Who could fathom the activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Who knew why Lord Nityananda broke his stick and water pot? Early next morning, Ramai Pandit saw the broken stick and water pot, and he told Mahaprabhu. Nityananda broke his stick, his danda, and his water pot. He was so amazed and perplexed. Oh, first he told Srivas, actually. Srivas then said, go to Vishwambar. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about Ramai Pandit, from Ramai Pandit, about Nityananda's activities, immediately came to the house of Srivas. There he found Nityananda in a trance, constantly laughing. So Lord Vishwambar took the broken stick and led Lord Nityananda Prabhu to the Ganga, again disciplining him with his elephant goad. Srivas Pandit and the other Vaishnavas accompanied the lordships to the Ganga for a bath, and there Lord Vishwambar threw the stick into the river. Vishwambar threw Nityananda's danda, and later Nityananda threw Gauranga's danda into the river, into the river. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, still in a trance, was restless and did not heed anyone's advice. So Chaitanya Prabhu loudly chastised him. That pacified him. Only Gauranga's chastisement could pacify him. So then Nityananda saw a crocodile, in the Ganga, and he jumped to catch the crocodile. That's Nityananda. Then he was competing with the crocodile, and only Lord Gauranga's voice controlled him. Hey, what are you doing? Come back. You have to perform Vyasa Puja. Stop playing with crocodiles. And then Nityananda returned. Immediately proceed to worship of Vyasadeva. Okay, he obeyed Lord Vishwambar, the sustainer of all the worlds. And he came out of the water and accompanied the Lord into the house. Soon after, the devotees assembled, and again the chanting started. Great chanting started. So Srivas Pandit was the acharya of that ceremony. He was the presiding instructor of the ceremony of Vyasa Puja, and sweet kirtan continued, and Srivas Thakur was waiting for Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu came, and Srivas gave him a garland, and he said, "Oh, please give this garland to Vyasadeva." So Nityananda was nodding and saying, yes, but was not doing anything. Gurudev loved to tell this lila on Vyasa Puja on Guru Purnima day. So he was holding the garland and waiting for someone. He was looking around. Then Srivas Pandit went to Lord Chaitanya and said, "Oh, your Shripad, your great personality, does not want to worship Vyasadeva." So the Lord immediately came there himself in the presence of Nityananda and said, "Nityananda, please listen to me. Offer the garland to Vyasadeva and worship him." Nityananda saw that Lord Chaitanya was there. He immediately placed the garment on the Lord's neck, over his head, or on Lord's neck. So that was the actual meaning of Vyasa Puja. Lord Nityananda showed all the world who is the actual personality from whom everyone comes, including Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is a Shakti-avesh. He's literary incarnation. But the source of all incarnations, Avatari, is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So certainly, who can love Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu more than Nityananda? So the fragrant flower garland of the Lord's curly hair made a beautiful sight. At that very moment, Lord Chaitanya revealed his six-handed form to Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda saw his six-handed form. Seeing this, Nityananda Prabhu immediately went into an ecstatic trance and fell unconscious. That is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. So all the devotees became very afraid and started praying, "Oh, protect him, Krishna, Krishna Rakho, Krishna Rakho. Please protect." Lord Chaitanya clapped his hands loudly and continued to roar loudly. So he bent down to lift Lord Nityananda. "Nityananda, please get up and steady your mind. Listen to the chanting of the holy name. The reason you descended to this material world is to propagate the chanting of the holy name. Now you have to perfectly succeed in this mission. What more do we want? You are the absolute proprietor of the treasure house of love of Godhead and the embodiment of sublime devotional love. No one can receive love of God unless and until you distribute it. Therefore, please get up and look around you. You're surrounded by your own beloved associates. You may distribute it to anyone you want to. If anyone nurtures even the slightest dislike for you, then although he may worship me, I will never recognize him as dear to me." So that is Mahaprabhu's conclusion, how he authorized Nityananda Prabhu to become his full representative, Sri Guru. That is it. So the words of Sri Gauranga brought Nityananda Prabhu back out of his trance. Seeing the Lord's six-armed form, he went into a state of great ecstasy. Nityananda Prabhu is same Ananta Shesha, in whose heart Lord Gauranga is an eternal residence. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is the disciple of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. As soon as he mentions his name, immediately he becomes so ecstatic. So he glorifies Nityananda again and again and again here. So why was Srila Gurudev telling this story? We heard it with many, many nice details today, because the ecstasy Nityananda Prabhu is having, Sri Guru is having in his heart, and we have to know that ecstasy and become immersed in it as well. So this process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is complete manifestation of mercy, which drives us completely into a complete state of ecstasy and madness. So yesterday we heard puspanjalis from devotees dedicated to Srila Gurudev, and today also I wanted to ask some devotees who hadn't spoken yesterday to please give your puspanjali to Srila Gurudev. And today amongst us, did his name? Sorry, forgot your name. Vrindavani Didi and her son. Yeah? Your name is Arasananda. If you could give your short pushpanjali to Srila Gurudev.
If anything's being recorded.
Oh, you cannot. You speak something.
Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. Guruvai Gaurachandra Radhikaya Krishna Krishna Bhakta Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Prabhane Shishma Bhaktivedanta Narayana Tinamine. So Maharaj mentioned that we have Vyasa Puja coming up in a couple of days. So on that day we worship Vyasadeva, who gave us all our main scriptures, which we follow. So we worship basically the whole Guru Purnima. So Srila Gurudeva is, well, he's a representative of Vyasadeva, like a genuine representative. So we're very lucky that we took shelter of Srila Gurudeva. Well, for one thing, human birth is very rare, and as a human, purpose is to progress spiritually. You know, become free from the cycle of the soul going to different lifetimes and everything. So Srila Gurudeva basically a way out of that. So, the nature of the soul, there's many different ideas what the soul is in relation to God, everything, but our conception, that's what I was just talking about, is that we're working towards praying, basically, love of God. So, yeah, we're very lucky that we took shelter of Gurudeva, and Maharaj is here to remind us of that, I think. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, really.
Do you remember something of your personal experience?
Not so much at the moment.
You were small.
Yeah, I didn't have so many personal things actually.
What you remembered from the festivals? How Gurudev was, how you perceived all that? How Gurudev was looking in your eyes?
Well, I don't know how to describe it in an appropriate way, really. Not sure what to say.
How old were you then?
Well, started seeing Gurudeva when I was 10.
Mm.
I'm 29.
Oh, okay.
Quite some time ago.
Vrindavan, Nidhi, a few words, please.
Just looking into Gurudev's heart when he would look at you was like you were really being seen, like he understood more about you than you understood about yourself. And was, for me, he was constantly telling me how he knew everything. Actually, every time I had some experience in his company, he would show me how he would know everything, even though I wasn't always aware of what was going on in my own life. It was just so magical. You could see a person that knew more about you than yourself and felt, yes, I want to fully know myself like you're seeing me. I want to realize myself. You're seeing that person, and I'm not aware of what's inside. You're fully aware of it. So it's just so magical. But one thing I do remember is Gurudev was extremely tricky. It was extremely tricky, and you would never fully know. You'd think you knew what he was actually saying. And then after some time, you realize, oh, he was meaning something else. For instance, one of the last times I ever saw him was in Navadri. And some of us were over here, like everyone would watch Gurudev, even from a distance. Wherever he appeared, everyone would watch. So some of the ladies were down at the temple. He was up by his room, like on the balcony, so he obviously couldn't speak. And then some of the Maharajas were there with him. But he was looking over, and because he couldn't speak, he would make sign language. He didn't have to speak. He would make some sign, and one of them was actually, he made this sign. He went like, you know how Gurudev wouldn't care what it was, just sort of wave your arms for no reason. So he was looking over, and he made this double circle, like Maharaj is walking past him. He wasn't like noticing that. He made this sign of two, in the air.
Mm.
And then afterwards I realised that that too meant that I would sort of physically see him in Italy, and then again in Vrindavan, and then he disappeared after that. So he was showing me this too, but also I've come to realise that this too meant other things, and it wasn't just only that I would see him 2 times. It meant so many other things as well. And the more I think about it, the more and more realizations are coming out of this too. He was always making like signals. It always meant something. If you had any problem at all, you'd think it was the end of the world. And then you just walk past and go, isn't it? You just go. And then you no longer had any problems. It was just unbelievable. And I just want to be there again with that magical person. It was unbelievable, really. But it was just so magical. And he always knew what was going on. I remember strange things come to mind. I went for a darshan, afternoon, and I had something that was really serious for me. I wanted to talk to him about that. Anyway, I sat for the darshan, and there weren't very many people there. And then a Prabhupada disciple came and sat, and he said, "Oh, come here." So he sat him in front. So I was like at the back then. And I thought, oh, this totally lost my chance now to say anything.
Mm.
And he was engaging with this person. He had like a very friendly relationship with the person. But then Gurudeva was talking to him in a very just humouring him, really. Like, not very deep thing, what you'd call frivolous things, really. Haircut and things like this. But while he was looking at this person, he was actually looking at me. And although I didn't speak to him, I probably got more from it than, than talking about someone's haircut. I didn't miss out at all. After my heart sinking, get it, I'm not going to get a word in now. But I didn't. And he fully understood. And then when I came out, I didn't really have any problem. I'd forgotten what I even would have said if I had an opportunity to. It was like nothing in the world really was a problem. Like, it was just basically that. It was just flipped away. It was like, put your foot on the head of the problem. Just stick it. It's nothing. Our goals up there. Other things, I turned up from a long journey and into Mathura. Parikram, he was just coming out for a morning walk. I'd just arrived, up and I paid my obeisances and I had flowers, so I gave him this flower. And then he said, "Oh, you've just arrived." And I said, yes, Shiva Gurudev, I've just come from England. And he said, oh, I saw you in Vrindavan. I said, Shiva Gurudev, I just arrived, got off the plane, just come from England, and just come straight here. He said, oh, I saw you in Vrindavan. Because I was going to Vrindavan many times and seeing Radharani. But he didn't want to hear England. So England didn't exist. Because, you know, we belong there. That is the only reality. Vrindavan is the only link. You have no connection to England, and I'm not even hearing about it. But I was so dull that I kept on saying, I've just arrived, I didn't. Because my mind used to go like blank sometimes, you know, expecting him to do everything. Language, kept on saying what was obvious, you know, just got off the plane. But it didn't exist in a reality for him. Anything beyond Vrindavan, it just didn't have any reality. He was in Vrindavan, and he wanted to see me in Vrindavan, and that was our connection. That was our eternal relationship. So took the flower, smelt it, and went on his morning walk. I didn't mind feeling like, sometimes my mind would go blank, but I didn't mind feeling a fool. I was happy to feel like a child, like a fool. Quite happy. There are so many things. But the sign language, I think, because I was quite shy. I was very shy talking to Gurudev. I would quite often speak through like things he'd do with his hands or his feet or his eyes. And he was always very aware of what was going on. I remember I was sitting in a class, and he was looking up, and I was like on this side, and somebody came and sat there, one of the men on the stage, and I could no longer see Gurudev, and I was absolutely devastated. You know, I want to see Gurudev. And suddenly Gurudev, he hadn't even looked over there. He didn't physically look. He knew we couldn't see, and he kept on staring. And they moved a little bit, but they didn't like it. And he still didn't look, and then he went. And I thought, great, Gurudev, great. I felt so close to Gurudev that he'd bother. You know, he knew that we were all. I was very upset because he was like, you know, I didn't want to see anyone else. I just wanted to see him, and this person was totally blocking it. He kept on, so because they didn't really want to go back anymore, but he kept on going. Like he would, you know, just do what you're told. And then he was totally in my view. I thought, great, Gurudev, great, you know, that was fantastic. so many things.
Thank you so much.
You didn't have to be like a big devotee. You knew everybody. He totally knew. I remember I after the parikram, well, something totally mundane, I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't show up for class. And when I did, and I come back, Gurudev was like in a mode of anger. Who has shown up late? Who has come late? Put your hand up. I was absolutely terrified because I was at the back of Gopinath Bhavan and he was there, so I kind of didn't walk enough in that he would like look over and say, "Why are you late?" But then some other people had turned up late as well. But there was no way I could have just gone straight to his class. So he was like, who has shown up late? Do not miss this class. You come for this class. Another time, yeah, he was actually quite when he'd show me, he knew what was going on. I was talking to one lady, devotee, I've known for a long time, and for some reason we were both feeling like really bit unhappy, a bit sort of like we're not getting any far, you know, we're not making much advancement or something. It was like a bit negative anyway, what we were talking about. Feeling sorry for ourselves in a way. And this conversation went on for a while. We were on our way to the class, and then when we got to the class, well, the beginning of the class, for about 20 minutes, Gurudev sat there practically repeating word for word what our conversation had been. Right? That nobody else in the universe could know anything about it. It was like, oh, and we're thinking like this, and repeating the words that we'd use. Oh, and this and that. And yeah, it was like practically the whole conversation, he repeated those words. No one else knew anything about it, apart from me and this other person. And then he started saying, you do not think like this. You do not know, you cannot realize how fortunate you are. I do not want this negativity. I am praying that Krishna will give you Subuddhi. This is not good. You cannot realize your fortune. So it's like a real wake up call. Basically, he hated this negativity. Hated anyone feeling hopeless. He was strong. He hated hopelessness in anyone, and it was all just mental stuff. Neither of us doing anything dreadful. We just felt sorry for ourselves. So, and it was constant. Practically every day he showed me how he knew what was happening. Like, it was just bizarre. Yeah, so many things. Another time I was at I think it was Italy. Sorry, I'm taking too much.
Very good.
Oh, at the end of a festival, Italy. I was going, or rather he was going. So I'd got there very early in the morning. It was very, very cold in winter. And I knew he was leaving like 4 o'clock or something. So I got there early and I was chanting up and down outside the building. And then he came out. A lot of devotees had gone inside the building, but I just waited outside. And then when he came out, he saying this in a proud way. There were a few devotees there, but he came out on the stairs and he walked straight over to me. And he just stood there looking at me. And I thought, oh, he must be so pleased with me because I came here early and I was chanting, freezing cold. He must be really pleased with me. But he just kept looking at me and like putting his hand up like this. I mean, I can't really remember how long it was because it just seemed so long and I was just looking into his eyes. And he was just ecstatic, and then he kept on putting his hand up. He didn't speak. And then at the end, he just said, thank you. And I knew, afterwards, I knew why he said thank you. And then he left, he went in the car. And then afterwards, I realised what he'd done. Because actually that day was my birthday. But I was so absorbed in him that I'd forgotten it was my birthday. Totally forgotten. All my focus was get there and see Gurudeva. And what I realised is because he actually knew. So I didn't. I, Maya, Yoga Maya, had totally blocked that out of my consciousness. But he knew. And he must have been standing there and giving like he does the birthday blessings like he does. You know, like Dad says something and then puts his hand up, something else and then puts his hand up. But he didn't speak. It was all very secretive. And that's the way he used to deal with me. And it wasn't till afterwards I realised what he was doing and what he was saying. I actually know why he said thank you to me, but I can't quite bring up and again I was feeling my condition nature sometimes I felt sorry for myself. So that's why he was saying thank you to me. Because other people hadn't appreciated what I've done or whatever. So he was saying it. And that's why I realised he said thank you. Because he knew I was feeling sorry for myself. But him saying thank you, no one else in the universe had to. Because he was just such a, wonderful person that if he says it, it doesn't matter if anybody else thinks about you, Just very magical person. With just a look of his eyes, or like this, everything, anything, any of anartha, any problem, would just get rid of it. And that was that. And that was the person he was. Very fearless and, very strong. Very strong. He wanted us to be like that. He didn't really like shyness or feeling of any negativity at all. He wanted us to be strong, ladies and men, fearless and strong. That was his mood.
Srila Gurudeva ki
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I remember how Srila Gurudeva was telling his ladies, I want my daughters to be like lionesses, not like meow, meow, meow. He was saying like this. Prabhu.
I'm not a disciple of Narayana Maharaj. I just came to listen to the devotees.
Okay.
Because I like association with the devotees.
Nice.
I have nothing to say really. Just
Oh, please say Srila Gurudeva ki jai.
Srila Gurudeva ki jai.
Thank you.
Vaishnava ki
Jai.
jai.
Your good name. Your good name. Good name.
I mean, it's always a blessing to be with the devotees, and I came here to listen.
Yeah,
to be in association.
You're
I
good.
knew a few of them. So Raghunath invited me, and I said, why not? I got the opportunity.
Your good name?
Maitreya.
Maitreya Prabhu.
Yeah.
Raghunath Prabhu, your puspanjali.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhika Pratima Shishama Bhaktivedanta Narayani Nagana.
For the sound, just
Okay.
left side.
This one.
Yeah, you can hold, otherwise you
Okay,
can
sure. So I was obviously very young and I was not very lucky. I only met Gurudev for few times actually in Italy and Govardhan. When I did have a chance, I always have a feeling that he sees everything inside of me. So it's the similar what probably everybody else had experience with. So I did try to ask him one question here and there, and I was such an absolute beginner that I really had no idea who I'm speaking to. And it normally took me a long time to actually figure things out. When he did say something, it meant something else, as Didi was saying, in a way. So it looked like he was talking about something else, but it could have meant different things. So, for instance, I was in a state of struggling with the university studies. I had a break and needed to see wherever I want to continue or not. So I was asking him, do you want me to study? Like, is it okay to continue my studies? And he said, he lifted his hand and he said, yes, be qualified. And like, who would give such an answer, right? So I was like, what does he mean? Yes, be qualified. Does that mean I should finish the university? And years later, or time later, I realized he's giving me the opportunity to, at hopefully one time, be qualified to understand what he's saying. So that's what sort of person he was. He would see through the question and also see on the top of it. And that was a blessing of so little association that I had with him. So I'm also very lucky because somehow or other, by his arrangements, he also sent me to my Shiksha Gurus, with whom I have much more personal associations than I could have with him. And it was my secret prayer that I could have more association with my Gurudev, but I couldn't be. There was always like 2,000-3,000 people around him. So how could you ever walk through the door or have some kind of a little, connection, that intimate conversation, or seeing him laugh or doing something with person that you try to make a connection with, and that was really hard. But then I was quite lucky that I'm in an association of my Shiksha Gurus that are giving me all these, fulfilling all my desires about how nice it is to meet Guru closely, very, very closely. There was another instance where I was quite lucky to few times give him a massage, and I was thinking myself, I'm obviously very qualified and educated, so I was actually thinking very opposite of what a real Vaishnavas or a devotee thinks. I was thinking, yes, I know how to do a massage. And he obviously nicely tricked me, as always. He was teaching a lesson, so there was few devotees around different parts of the body. He would always have like 6 or 8 people massaging him, and I ended up massaging his left hand, and I was thinking, this is like, why would me, the most qualified person, that could obviously do the left hand. So he immediately tried to smash my ego, let me actually do this left hand, which is, what do you do with the left hand? Everybody knows. So that was the type of lesson he was always teaching me. Somehow, there was also one more instance where that was just right after my first initiation, the first Harinam. That was in Italy. It was quite interesting. Was that I was in 3 years. I tried to associate around ISKCON, or around basically the temple right here, and I was kind of very happy around. And in a way, there were somehow always some situations that doors were closed in front of me for some reason, and at that time I didn't see why. And anyway, so I thought, okay, let me go again with this idea of try to approach him and speak to him in a way that you should with the Guru, right? Let's ask questions, let's be near him, and and that was just right after my finished initiation. I was just like totally shaved head, like first time in my life. I don't think I even have a dhoti or all these devotional clothes on. I didn't know anything basically, and but they told me in around here and at ISKCON that I should try to talk to the Guru. So I tried, and he was on his own. So I was quite lucky. Oh, I'm so happy. Let me talk to my Guru. Finally, he's like a special person, because I didn't know anything about him. Let me go, and I was in a very like romantic mood to my Guru. Let's just talk to him, and he saw me. I saw, and I was just like I was destroyed. It's like, what is this? Like, how is this possible? I tried to talk to somebody who's supposed to be my Guru. He's just giving me initiation. In the ISKCON rules, like, this is the time to talk. Or any other rule. They try to talk to a Guru, and I was destroyed. I was like, why would I ever take initiation again, or think I've done the biggest mistake of my life, like taking an initiation of a person who doesn't want to talk to me. So it's my last story. So I just finished this.
No problem.
And then later I understood, because similar things were repeating often, and that was that the lesson he tried to taught me was go always deep, communicate to me through the mantra, or just deep inside. Don't make it external in a way that you not normally wouldn't actually know how to relate to me in a way. And that's very interesting, because also with my Shiksha Gurus, I'm experiencing a lot of similar things going on, that they know everything what's going on inside of me, but they don't necessarily allow me to directly communicate in such a way that I would like to. But the communication within is always going on. That's very fascinating stuff, that inside of me, telepathically and on any other level, it's always going on. And I was like, so that was the first lesson to teach me, go inside, don't do all these things externally. So it was quite a lesson for me.
Oh, Jagadan.
Do you mind if I say something?
Yes, for sure. Please take.
I didn't speak correctly.
Yeah. Good.
But, the things that Vrindavani was speaking,
Yeah.
I can speak without it.
No, it's better for the viewers. Broadcast.
I'm not sure if it's actually on.
Vrindavani was speaking about sign language, Gurudev sign language. I'd never thought of it like that, but one time in Italy, one festival in Italy, and Shamarani, Jadurani, she said that, if you have any problem or any difficulty or anything that's worrying you, you should always speak to Guru, to Gurudev, and it can be cleared up. So it was a very difficult thing for me, but I decided I would do that. So I went into his room, and he was sitting down, and I sat down in front of him. But then, right as soon as I walked in, there were two other sannyasis that came in the room, and they sat down very comfortably. And I don't know, there might have been other people in the room, but I couldn't see because I got really worried because I didn't want to speak in front of anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a thing that was going on in my life. It was really profound and difficult at the time. And I was just sitting, and so Gurudev said, so? And I was just looking at him, and I couldn't speak because I didn't want to speak in front of everybody. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to ask people to leave the room. And I just sat in front of him and looked at him. And all this stuff was welling up in my heart that I wanted to say, but it wouldn't come out. And I don't know how long I was sitting there like that, looking at him, and he was looking at me, waiting for me to speak. I don't know if it was just a few seconds, a few minutes, or like 10 minutes, but it seemed like an excruciatingly long time to me. And all of a sudden, he just went, like, it's nothing. Whatever it was that I was feeling was so problematic, he just went like that. And I was really surprised, and I didn't really know what to make of it at the time. But I really appreciated somehow that he heard me, even though I wasn't able to speak. And he was saying that it wasn't that important. And there was another time in Germany, and it was the end of a festival, and Gurudev was getting ready to leave, and his bags were all packed up, and I thought, oh, I have to go and speak with him because I was very worried at that time about my son. I thought, oh, I have to speak to him before he leaves. So I ran into the house, and his servant was there, and all of the suitcases were there and packed, and everything was ready to go. And I said, Gurudev, I need to speak to you. And he just walked right past me. And I thought, oh my goodness, I've really made an offense. So what right do I have to interfere? He's on his way to the car. He's leaving now. So maybe I've made some offense, I was thinking. So he just kept on walking, and he went and he stood by the car door, the door that was waiting to take him to the airport. And the door was wide open, and he stood there, and I was standing right in front of him, and there were about 75 devotees all around behind me. And he said, again with his hand gestures, he said, do not worry about anything in this world. Close your eyes, chant Hare Krishna, and be in that world. And slowly you will realize that everything here is just a dream. And it was so powerful, and I just felt that he waited so that all those other devotees could hear that. Jai Srila Gurudeva.
Srila Gurudeva ki.
Jai.
Thank you so much. These two ladies, if you can say something. Srila Gurudeva, if you want. Anything? Something?
I was given clear books, and
Just use it. Your good name?
Hemahlarini Devidasi. I'm not a disciple of Gurudeva. The first time I'm here. I was given a few books by Raghunath, and I just what Mataji, what Didi was saying.
Vrindavani Didi.
Vrindavani. Hare Krishna. So that when he looks at you, he can see straight through you. And I remember first time I opened this book, and every time I open the book, Gopi Gita, to read, I look at his picture. It's just a picture, and I feel like he can see straight through me. I feel it's so powerful, just the photo. And I'm really enjoying reading the book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Srila Gurudeva ki say something.
I'm Shamala Devotees.
Oh, nice.
I have come to Gurudev's meeting before. I know Jagatam very well. Oh, sorry. I know Jagatam very well.
Yes.
I know Yashashwani. We're good friends. I meet her on Tuesdays. So we, and she has got amazing picture of Gurudev there. And no matter where you go, you can see him looking at you. It's amazing. Very big picture. And it was presented to her son by a lady. And whenever I go, I look at him and I think, wow, amazing. I wish I had met him. So I'm quite, I feel as though he's watching me too, from the pictures. I feel there's a lot of power. It's amazing. Thank you.
Srila Gurudeva ki. I'm deeply thankful to all devotees who spoke yesterday and today also. Today Vrindavani Didi was speaking very wonderfully, Jagatam Didi also, Raghunath. And it, how to say, charmed my heart a bit, what you have spoken, and forced me to remember my humble experience. Once I was in Germany, 2006. That year, festival was quite early, somehow, not summer, it was in April, and it was still cold.
Actually, sorry, I think I made a mistake. I think it was Germany and I said Italy.
Yeah, it was Germany. April 2006.
Very, very cold.
Germany was cold, so Gurudev was not walking, he was walking inside. And often it was happening, probably, I know, I'm sure in your life also, that you were coming to Srila Gurudev's festivals with, how to say, after some problems you were having, after some difficulties you were having. So right after that, there was Gurudev's festival. In my life, it was like this. I'm sure many devotees were experiencing similar things. So right before that festival, I had serious difficulty, and I was trying to serve Gurudev, and something was failing in my sadhana. So I was feeling very, very heavy that day. And I was still brahmachari, 2006. So they gave me a service. Harikatha was in a huge hall, and there were shoes, masses of shoes of devotees, just put at the entrance of the hall here and there. So I had to clear the path for Gurudev. So arrange the shoes nicely. So I was doing, and I arranged, and I'm waiting. Gurudev is coming, and on that day I was just feeling awful. Half a day, I was just feeling awful. I was walking in the forest, cold, but I was still walking in the forest, chanting, thinking different things. And Gurudev was walking through that path, He was looking at me, and then looking forward, and again looking at me, and saying, "Now you're feeling well?" I say, "Yes, Gurudev. Now I'm feeling well." That was it. That's how it was. So, as Didi was saying about how Gurudev was reading your mind, Gurudev was asking us, "How are you?" And one sannyasi once said, "Oh, Gurudev, I don't know. You know better how I am." So that was the principle. Another thing. Once, 2001, we missed Purushottama. Such a sad occasion, like we really missed it because of some legal things about the visa, and we arrived late. So Purushottam was just 2 weeks it finished just 2 weeks before Kartik started, 2001. And Gurudev was resting in Haridwar. In Haridwar, there's a
Gaudiya Math of Gaudiya Samiti, just on the bank of one of the streams of the Ganga, Bhaktivedanta Gaudiya Math. So Gurudev was staying there by himself, basically, with Madhva Maharaj, Prajanath, some other people. But we were not allowed to stay. We came, three of us came to Haridwar. We were not allowed to stay in the mat, so we rented another place. And we were coming to see Gurudev there. And then more devotees came. So the atmosphere was really very intimate. Then a few more devotees came. Then there were some morning classes. Somebody was giving, Madhva Maharaj, someone was giving morning classes. So maybe 7 or 8 of us there, maybe up to 10. And Gurudev was coming every morning for Ganga Puja. He was coming up to that stream of the Ganga, and you remember that photo with the little boat Gurudev was later. I think I made it. Anyway, he was taking that little boat, letting that boat with the flame go along the river. So he was coming for Ganga Puja, and we immediately jumped and went to touch his feet. And every time Gurudev was seeing you, he was seeing you, means your soul, your seva and your position now in your seva, how you're close to your real seva. He was seeing that. So he looked at me that time with his blue eyes, electric blue, like electric because you get electricity, you're shaking. He's looking at you, and you're fully shaken. You cannot. It's undescribable. What English, even Russian, I cannot say what that felt. And he's looking into your soul and asking, "Okay." So that okay, that okay really was making a revolution in you every time. It's okay. One brahmachari said one time, Holland 2005, you doing okay? Not, how are you? Not very good, Srila Gurudev. But I want you to be very good. Another time, one brahmachari stopped, how to say, dyeing his clothes, saffron. Sometimes brahmacharis do. So as a result, the cloth gradually become white. So brahmachari, so-called brahmachari, reveals his way of thinking. So one brahmachari, Holland 2003, who had stopped dyeing his dhoti, was singing kirtan, very advanced kirtan. He was good kirtanier, really. Jaya Nanda Nandana Gopi Janavallabha Radha Nayaka Nagarashyama Shri Sachinandana. That one by Govinda Das Kaviraj, I think. Yes, very deep kirtan. So Gurudev came while he was singing, and he sat down, sat on the asana. You could see Gurudev was not satisfied. He was listening like this, very strict looking like this. So when Brahmachari stopped, he asked him, "Hey, why are you singing this bhajan? Who is Nanda Nandana? Who is Gopijana Vallabha? Who is Radha Nayaka Nagarashyama? Who? Can you describe? Stand up, describe. I'm not qualified to speak in this assembly, but you're qualified to sing? Sing only those bhajans you're qualified to. You sing this Bimala Vaishnava. First you describe, explain. What is the meaning? This is Gurudev. What is the meaning every time? So, well, he explained Bimala Vaishnava, and so I want to meet that Bimala Vaishnava, that pure Vaishnava, and serve his lotus feet. And he described nicely. Now sing this bhajan. Oh, first I think he made him sing, then describe. Okay, so sing only those bhajans you are qualified for. Like this. Also Holland 2003. De Glind, you remember? Big window walls over the sports hall. And every day was raining. So many times. Windy and raining. So devotees were hanging their clothes to dry, and then all of a sudden rain was coming. So during the class, Harikatha, Gurudev is noticing one devotee leaving, another devotee leaving. Why is everybody going? Rain coming? So your clothes will pay attention to Harikatha. You're not paying attention to Harikatha. Oh, your clothes will get wet, then get dry. What's the problem? But I can see even those devotees for 20 years of practicing, running to save the clothes. Like this. So Srila Gurudev was trying to make again Holland 2003. Remember how Srila Gurudev made everyone stand up, all brahmacharis, all saffron brahmacharis, stand up and explain the shloka Anyabilasita Shunyam. Every single one. First he made Indubhushan Prabhu stand up. Indubhushan Prabhu, my dear friend, nice devotee, but sometimes not like brilliant speaker. Now he's much better, but not at that time. So he spoke something, Gurudev said, okay, sit down. Next, you, Radha Madhava, Radha Vinod, all German brahmacharis. I was also having saffron first year, but I was in the corner recording the speaker on the cassette recorder, so Gurudev didn't notice me. That's why he would have called me on. So they described nicely. I can ask anyone, top to bottom, this shlok, Gurudev used to stop everyone and ask, what is bhakti? You tell. What is bhakti? What else? Many devotees were introducing to Gurudev. Gurudev was saying, that devotee wants to preach you. That devotee wants to, become leader in his town, etc. You know Siddhanta? You know, what will you preach? You know Siddhanta. Gurudev was drilling us. He was making us explain things according to Siddhanta day and night. So the world is saying, Srila Bhaktivinoda Narayan Goswami Raj, such a Rasika Vaishnava, but such a Tattvagya Vaishnava also. So much. So what else? Yesterday, at the end, we remembered Russian festivals. Very, very favorite, but today I think some devotees need to go. So wait a minute. First kirtan, then go. Without kirtan, don't go. So your things will not disappear there. Everything, all clothes will be there. Don't worry, don't save your clothes. Oh yeah, but first go to Arati today. Yes, so it's not too late yet. So I'm very, very deeply grateful to you today, dear brothers, sisters, yesterday, and anyway, all the previous days. By your mercy, by Srila Gurudev's mercy, the tour was successful. We met some nice devotees, new people in the south, East Sussex, Kent, Groombridge, Uxbridge, Uckfield, and then in London, and then here, Bushey. So we're very grateful to dear hosts in the south, Asim Prabhu, Yamuna Didi, Sundarananda Prabhu in London City, Raghunath Prabhu here. And we wish you a very nice festival day after tomorrow. I'll be in Lithuania on that day with my historical countrymen celebrating, and let Srila Gurudev lead us forever. Let our love grow, and as soon as possible we have to achieve Nishta and then Prem. It's at least my goal, as soon as possible. Last thing, very, very last thing, very last remembrance, my favorite, one of the very first experiences, Kartik Parikrama 1999, when I just joined. Srila Gurudev was leading us. We were sitting at Charan Pahari, where the imprints of Krishna's, Balaram's, and cowherd boys' lotus feet are there, and camels and cows and so many other animals. And Gurudev was quoting the blessing Narada had received from Krishna, that those who are touching that food dust and remembering the pastimes, they will achieve Prem very, very soon. So Srila Gurudev was looking at us like this. So don't have any doubts. Very, very soon, all of you will achieve prema, and repeat it. Very, very soon, all of you will achieve prema. So I was just speechless. Everybody went Haribo. So we have a very, very great hope. I mean, we have been taken by Srila Gurudev, but now it's our time for fulfilling our side of agreement. We have to give our life. So I'm just preaching for myself. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya pati. Vaishnavyo namo namaha. Thank you so much. Dandavat pranam. I will sing Gaur Arati and then take prasad. Gaur Premanande.